All things Mavs.
Mavs fans, what's going on? Welcome into All Things Mavs. Now, before I get into today's news and rumors, I want to make sure that you've subscribed to our brand new All Things Mavs channel. Now, we're making it really easy on you guys. We're putting the link in the description, in the comment section, and it's right down below. When you go to youtube.com/allthingsmavs, make sure you subscribe to that brand new channel. I appreciate you guys watching, following, subscribing, and clicking that like button on every single video. Now let's get right into it with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. According to Coach Rick Carlisle, he did not travel with the team to Orlando. And if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been raising this question since we got into Orlando. Where has MKG been? Well, the Mavs are reportedly working on logistically getting him to the bubble. And the reason that this worries me a little bit is because Kidd-Gilchrist has barely even played with the Mavs as is. He's played in a total of 9 games. He's putting up less than 1 point per game, 2 rebounds, and less than 1 assist. So when you already have limited time with a brand new team, you need as much time as you can get with that team. And that's what this training camp season is all about for the Mavs, is getting MKG really into the system and getting him a part of this team. It's been weird seeing him. He's been barely playing any minutes even in those 9 games that he played. But what he does for this Mavs team is bring a different level of defensive ability on both the wings and as a power forward as well. Rick has mentioned him multiple times as an undersized power forward for this team, and I think that makes a lot of sense when you see the forwards the Mavs do have. Of course, you got Kristaps Porzingis, but now we're starting to see that he fits better at the center position, so he's not so much a 4 anymore. Maxi Kleber, same thing with him. He is basically the main backup center to Kristaps Porzingis, which leaves 2 real power forwards in Dorian Finney-Smith and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. And if MKG isn't in Orlando right now and he's not practicing with the team and he doesn't know Rick's system because he's only been here for a total of 9 games, that worries me because he's going to have to come in and he's going to be asked to do a lot on the defensive side of the ball. When you've only got guys like Dorian Finney-Smith to guard some of these elite Western Conference wings, you need MKG to step up. You look at guys like LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers, who the Mavs will see in the scrimmage time, and who's going to guard him? Maybe Dorian Finney-Smith, but if Doe's off the court, you got to have MKG in there. Of course, you got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Yeah, Finney-Smith can guard one of those 2 guys, but after that, you need another guy to guard one, and that's where MKG comes into play. Same with Brandon Ingram, a guy who's in the most improved player conversation, and I also included Danilo Gallinari in this one as well because OKC is a very likely first-round matchup for the Mavs, and Gallinari is a bigger guy that I really don't want to see a guy like Kristaps Porzingis guard because he's not that mobile. But the biggest question I have now is because Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has been here. We haven't seen much of him. He's played some good defensive minutes every once in a while, but we got rid of Rowdy Ryan Broekhoff, a fan favorite, a guy who I actually wanted to come back to Dallas after Willie Cauley-Stein opted out of the Orlando bubble. So who would you rather have? If you look back on it right now, which of these 2 guys would you have? Type RB for Ryan Broekhoff. Type MKG if you'd rather have Kidd-Gilchrist. Personally, Broekhoff knows the system. He's a better shooter. Of course, he's with the Philadelphia 76ers now. However, there is word that he might not be playing in Orlando due to a family illness, but I think I'd still have Broekhoff over MKG. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, as I mentioned, we are gearing up for basketball to return to play in Disney World, and I cannot wait. And the best way to show that you're ready to play is to rep some new Mavs gear. So when you go to chatsports.com/Mavs Back, you get these incredible Ball is Back shirts brought to you by Fanatics. Go check them out. You can get them at a great deal right now when you use that custom link, chatsports.com/Mavs Back. I've got mine on order right now. It's on the way. I'll be repping it when the Mavs begin to play. Now let's move on to this one from Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report calls Joe Harris the Dallas Mavericks' perfect target this summer in free agency. Now, luckily for the Mavs, Harris is going to be an unrestricted free agent, which means he's not restricted and Brooklyn cannot match whatever he is offered. But the only way the Mavs are going to even have a chance at signing Joe Harris is if Tim Hardaway Jr. opts out, and the Mavs will have over $20 million in cap space to play with. Now, if they want to use that $20 million on Joe Harris, I completely understand. This year, he's averaged a little better than 13 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and shooting over 41% from 3. That's what Joe Harris has always done since he has come into the league. Last year was the best 3-point shooter in the entire league when you look at percentage-wise. And really, it's not even close. He was at 47.4% last year for Brooklyn. Now, again, he's at 41% this year, but last year, the best most accurate three-point shooter in the league, followed by Danny Green now with the Los Angeles Lakers, of course, last year with the Toronto Raptors, followed by our very own Seth Curry, who last year spent time with the Portland Trail Blazers at 45%. His brother behind him at 43.7%, and then Danilo Gallinari was right there as well at 43.3%. Now, if Joe Harris is signed, this is what that lineup could look like next season. You got Luka Doncic and I would say Seth Curry probably in the backcourt together. Joe Harris is your new starting small forward with Kristaps Porzingis and Dorian Finney-Smith on the front line. Now, offensively, this team would be amazing. Of course, the Mavs already have the number one rated offense in the history of the NBA right now. Joe Harris would add a lot to that, but here's the deal. Joe Harris provides nothing on defense. In fact, he's a liability on the defensive end. Tim Hardaway Jr., on the other hand, can at least hold his own, and he's not some all-NBA defensive team kind of guy, but he can hold his own. He's a good defender. Joe Harris, on the other hand, gets blown by. And when you look at the numbers from an offensive standpoint, it's really pretty close. In fact, Tim Hardaway Jr., when you look at these numbers, has been better than Joe Harris in just about every single statistical category. Now, I like both of them a lot. Again, Joe Harris as a three-point shooter would be an incredible thing to add to this offense. But Tim Hardaway Jr. already shooting at 41% from three is pretty darn good. So I don't know if I would call Tim Hardaway Jr. the perfect target, or Joe Harris the perfect target for the Mavs this summer. In fact, I think I'd rather have Tim Hardaway Jr. on this team next year. Better defensively, can finish around the rim better. He's the same age as Joe Harris, and he's been just as good of a three-point shooter as Joe Harris has been this season. So I'm not 100% sure that Joe Harris is that perfect target, Bleacher Report. However, if the Mavs signed him, I don't think anyone would be upset. I think I would be upset if we let THJ walk in order to bring in Joe Harris. I think that would be a downgrade in the starting five. Now, if we brought in Joe Harris alongside Tim Hardaway Jr., that might work. However, the money there does not work because remember, Tim Hardaway Jr. has an $18.9 million player option. So if he opts into that, the Mavs are pretty limited in cap space. However, if he opts out, Joe Harris could be that target. So now it's time for you to pick one. Which one would you rather have? I gave my spiel for both of them. Joe Harris, the more accurate three-point shooter. Tim Hardaway Jr., I believe, the better overall player. So if you'd rather keep THJ, just type that in the comment section below. But if you want Joe Harris in here, type JH and let me know what you guys think. Now let's talk about another Dallas Maverick wing, Justin Jackson. Should we be expecting more from the former Sacramento King, now Dallas Maverick, when the season returns in Orlando? Now this year his minutes have been absolutely all over the place, and really he began this season as a potential starter. Now that wore off pretty quickly after he had a pretty bad showing in the first half of the year, but now Rick Carlisle is saying we're going to need him. We're going to need him to step up when we get to Orlando. Here's what Rick said exactly. He said, we're going to need Justin Jackson as a two-position player. His floater game is maybe the best one I've seen in 35 years around the game. And honestly, that's true. Justin Jackson's floater game is, you can't argue with it. It's incredible. It works almost every single time. However, outside of that floater game, Justin Jackson doesn't add a lot to this offense. He doesn't add a lot to the defensive end either. However, if you've been following me on Twitter, you know that I am on Justin Jackson Island. I have been for a long time. I wanted him to start. So I wouldn't be upset to see him get some more minutes. Now, if you're a follower of me on Twitter, I want you to be a subscriber of me on here on YouTube. Comment MFFL if you've already subscribed. Let us know in the comment section. It means the world to us when you do that. And when you comment MFFL, it lets me know, number one, you're a Mavs fan for life, and number two, that you have subscribed and you truly are an MFFL. Now let's talk more about Justin Jackson here, because last year, he was actually pretty darn good when he was with the Mavs. Now, these numbers are only from his time in Dallas, not including his time in Sacramento. In his time with Dallas, he was putting up 8 points per game, 2.4 rebounds, shooting better than 37% from three, and finishing 48% of his shots from the field. Now, you stack that up to this year, it's a downgrade in just about every single category. 5 points per game, worse than 29% from three, and a little better than 39% from the field. He's been inefficient, and now a lot of that's not on his shoulders, because when you get inconsistent minutes, you're going to get inconsistent play as well. But he gets those inconsistent minutes for a reason. Sometimes he's shown he's a liability on the defensive end. And you want him to play the power forward position because he's tall enough, but he's not strong enough for that. But now he's going to have to step it up. The Mavs need him to pick it up because Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dorian Finney-Smith are your absolute, by far, two best wings on this roster. But then you got Courtney Lee, who's not even going to play because he had a mysterious calf injury. And then you got MKG, who's only been with the Mavs for 9 games, and we just said this earlier, isn't even in the bubble yet. You need Justin Jackson to be there as a reliable second-string forward behind Dorian Finney-Smith and behind Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. So now the question is, do you guys, do the Mavs fans who watch every single day, do you believe in Justin Jackson? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Listen, I know I just ragged on him a little bit here, but I'm a believer. I think when he comes into Orlando, he's going to be able to step up his play to another level. If we even just get 2018, 2019 Justin Jackson, I would be happy with that. I don't want what we've gotten this year. I want what we got last year, and I think he's ready to prove that in Orlando. Now, once we get back to Orlando, you got to be repping those Mavs shirts. So again, that's chatsports.com/Mavs Back. Go check it out with our friends over at Fanatics. Get yourself one of these awesome Ball is Back t-shirts. Mavs fans, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.